Hey guys, it's Adam with Outdoor Pet Solutions. Today, I'm going to show you how easy it is to install an underground pet containment system using basic tools that you probably have lying around your home already. So you may be thinking that installing an underground pet containment system may be back-breaking labor that's going to require you to dig a large, deep trench to install the cable. And that's simply just not the case. The underground pet containment wire that you install, if it's of good quality and very thick gauge, can literally be installed right on top of the ground. The key is to secure it properly to prevent it from becoming a trip hazard and becoming damaged in the future. So obviously I'm in the business for installing these pet containment systems on a regular basis, so I've invested thousands of dollars into a machine that helps me install these systems quickly and efficiently. But before I had the money to invest in that machine, I did it by hand, just like I'm going to show you today. You have three options. You can use one of the two methods I'm going to show you today using basic hand tools, or you can run up to your home improvement store that may have a rental department and you can rent out a cable layer. But these cable layers may not be what you're expecting when you get it home. I have personally used those cable layers in the past when I first got into the business trying to figure out what was the best way to do this, and I found that basic hand tools were a lot easier than renting that machine. Because that machine consists of is basically a very low horsepower lawn edger, creating a small trench, and you're dragging this machine backwards in order to accomplish this. And as you work your way backwards, it's laying the cable down behind you. Because of the low horsepower, it tends to bog down repeatedly as you're trying to get the cable installed. So what happens is as soon as you hit a root or any thick clay or any other type of obstruction that's in the ground, the blade stops. And then you're having to drag the machine over top of the obstruction, hand dig in that spot, and then try to get going again. I rented that machine one time over 20 years ago, and it was a nightmare. I ended up chucking it back in the truck, finishing the job with just a hand shovel, and I returned the machine back and never used it again. It's just not really equipped for what it's intended to do, and you spend most of your time just fighting it. So if you have some basic hand tools around the house, you should be able to knock this out pretty quickly by using the techniques I'm about to show you. The first option I'm going to share with you consists of just two tools, a flat shovel and a weeding tool. This weeding tool you can purchase at any big box store, Home Depot, Lowe's, and you'll find it in the garden section, and it's designed to pry weeds up out of the ground. But what it's great for is tucking the wire into the ground. But what you want to do first is there's usually a sharp blade on the end of this. You want to grind that down. I use a file or a bench grinder and just grind down a little half moon, half circle, and that will help tuck that wire safely into the ground after you have opened up the ground using your flat shovel. And I'm going to show you how to do that right now. So if you're going to use the hand or the flat shovel along with your weeding tool, it's very quick and easy, and it's a simple way to get it done, and it ensures that you get that wire under the surface of the ground so that it's out of the way. So what you'll do is simply just push the shovel in at an angle, just like that. Not much, just a couple of inches, and then you're going to lift the soil open, and then you're going to tuck the line into the soil, and then you're going to collapse down on it. It's as simple as that. So to show you how quick and easy, you just a couple inches in, lift, couple inches in, lift, couple inches in, lift, couple inches in, lift, and just so on. You just keep going, and you might do 20, 30 feet in what, 5, 10 minutes? Just like that, all the way across. And then once you have your trench open, just take your 500-foot spool of 14 gauge solid core with the 45 mil jacket and just roll it out in the direction you cut your trench, and then take your weeding tool and just start tucking. That's all you got to do. A lot of times I'll grab the turf and pull up on it to open that trench up for me a little bit more. But that's all you need to do. And just keep tucking until you've reached the end of your trench you've cut open and then start digging again. You'll get it done in no time. And then all you do is walk back over it, just like that. Out of sight, out of mind, it's all good to go. So the next method I'm going to show you is a little bit different, and it actually doesn't even involve burying the cable underground. Now, this isn't my preferred way to do it, but it's a quick and efficient way to get it done. And as long as you tack the line down well and it's not a trip hazard, it should never become an issue for you. So this method uses a weed eater and landscape staples. So what you'll do is take a weed eater and you will score across the top of your lawn, all the way around where you want that wire to be laid. And basically you're just removing the grass and weeds and whatever you have growing in that little slot, exposing the bare dirt. And that's the key. You want the line tacked down tightly against the surface of the soil, and that way your lawn will grow up around the line and you'll be good to go. But in order to secure it, you want to use these landscape staples. And these are heavy-duty landscape staples. These aren't the ones that you can buy at Lowe's and Home Depot. You need to go to a landscape supplier to get the good stuff. These are 4-inch long. They're used to tack down weed blocker and erosion mats and things like that. But if you go to a landscape supply store like SiteOne, those places will have the good stuff. Using my commercial trencher, I'm not out there using these staples. However, I do use them in flower beds. So a lot of times that pre-twisted white tap line that you run from your transmitter out to the boundary will a lot of times run through a flower bed that's running along the side of your home. And so I use these to install that, and I'll show you how I do that in just a moment. Reason I use these instead of burying the twisted line, or any line for that matter that happens to be running in the flower beds, is because that's where most of the time customers will end up digging. They're replanting for the spring, and a lot of activity goes on in those areas, and I don't want them to risk cutting the line. So instead, I just remove the decorative surface material, which is the mulch or the pine straw or whatever they've used in their flower beds, and I'll lay the line down on the surface of the soil, and I'll tack it down using these staples, and then I'll simply just cover it back up with the mulch or pine straw. And that way, when they go to dig or plant trees or flowers or whatever they're working on, they can just simply remove that surface material, see where the line is, or hopefully where the line isn't, and they can go ahead and dig. But if you go ahead and bury that down into those flower beds, they don't know that it's there until they start digging, and that's when they cut the line. All right, guys, so here we are, typical flower bed that runs all around the sides of the home, and we got to get our twisted pair from the transmitter that's on the other side of this wall and run it out through this bed, out to the lawn, out to our boundary. All right, so here we are. We've got our twisted pair that we are running out to the boundary line that's out into the yard, and it's coming from the house. So like I mentioned, I don't like to bury it. I want to just tack it to the surface. So just simply remove the top material, whether it's mulch or pine straw, decorative rock. But the point is you want to get down to the dirt here so that you can tack the line to the surface. And then that way it's easily found in the event you want to start planting in your flower beds. Just take your landscape staples, and these are heavy duty ones that you can get at SiteOne or any other landscape store. They're used for fabric. They're used for weed blocking fabric and erosion control, things like that, but they work really well. And a lot of times you don't even have to use your hammer to get the job done. You can just simply push the staple in, just like that, and it holds down nice and tightly. And then you work your way all the way out till you get to the yard, to your boundary, just like that. And once you have it tacked, you can simply just cover it back up with the bed material. Like I said, whether it's mulch or pine straw or whatever, it's out of sight. It won't get disturbed unless you're out planting. You can simply just expose it and find that wire quick and easy. Now I'm going to show you how you can use the weed eater along with the landscape staples to secure the line pretty quick and easy. A little more quickly than the hand digging method. But just keep in mind that line will be on top of the surface of the ground, and then once the turf grows back up around it, it'll be out of sight, but it's still there, and it could be damaged if you forget about it. But just keep that in mind. And you're just going to skim across, like you're edging the lawn with the head of the weed eater on its side. And you're just going to run right across the surface. So that's pretty simple. And what you'll end up with, what you'll end up with is just skimming the surface of the lawn, removing the grass and weeds, so you got bare dirt to tack that line to. So after you've gone all the way around your lawn, making that route that you want the cable to go, just take your 500-foot spool, unroll it, just like that, and then grab your landscape staples. And again, if your turf is pretty forgiving, you could literally just push the staples to the ground without having to use the hammer, you know. But you just keep going. Just make sure that the line stays in contact with the soil as you go around. And I have like a little fanny pack that I'll wear when I'm doing a lot of flower beds and things like that, where I will be stapling the line down. I'll have a fanny pack with those staples loaded up in there, so they're quick and easy. Just boom, 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 boom. Just go, cover back up with mulch or whatever, and you're good to go. But that's good and tacked down. It's not going anywhere, and when the lawn heals and grows back together, you won't even know it's there. Installing an underground dog fence doesn't have to be complicated or backbreaking. If you've got a few simple tools around the home and you've got a detailed step-by-step guide on how to properly install it, you'll be in good shape. If you're interested in an underground dog fence and you want to install it yourself, check out the OPS 1000. It comes complete with my installation and training guide, which will guide you through the entire process of installing the dog fence, as well as how to properly train your dog to the fence. Proper training is the secret to successful containment. There'll be a link down below where you can get yours today with free shipping. And as always, thanks for watching. Goodbye.